move into the business, right? I wanted to just get into this whole, the creation of it. But, I said this earlier, I said this on another interview because similar space, right? But according to ibsworld.com, there are over 206,000, okay? 206,000 psychologists, social workers, and marriage counselors just in the US. So why start the greatest day mindset? Why start it knowing that there are a plethora of people out there?
There's I've had messages before, and there are more people thinking it too, and it's okay, that have labeled me as a toxic positivity guy. What do you mean greatest day of your life every single day? Every day you wake up, that's the agenda? It's the greatest day of your life? I don't literally believe today is the greatest day of my life. I got married. I got 3 kids. Those are pretty big days. Those are pretty big days. No offense, but interviewing or having this awesome discussion with you, it's not climbing above those, buddy. but also, those are gone. Not in my heart or in my memory, but in my moment, in the reality, like right now, the current moment, those are gone. So you are it, me and you right now in this very moment. So you better believe this is the greatest interview I've ever done, greatest discussion I've ever had. This is the greatest day I've ever had because it's the only one I have. And 150 to 200,000 people die every day. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people who have a planner. Let me open my schedule. Let's check it out. Oh, we got Johnny's birthday next weekend. Make sure we get him a great gift. He's been good this year, whatever, right? Oh, my daughter's getting married. We got graduation here. We've got that cruise we're going to look forward to. Retirement's coming up. And those people never see those days. They're in their calendar. They never get to see them because they don't make it. They don't live. They die. They weren't planning on it. Look at their calendar. But it's a reality. And so when I wake up and I got that sunrise and I posted it on my social media today, my not as impressive mountain range as yours, with the sun coming up, the sun sitting above it. And I'm like, wow, another one. God, you're amazing. Thank you. I'm gonna go do some good. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go do some good. I'm gonna go have a fun conversation. I'm gonna try to do something impactful today because this is it. This is what I was given. He gave me another day. I'm gonna make it the greatest one I've got because it's the only one. I don't know if I make it to tomorrow. I don't know. And speaking of birthdays, it's my wife's birthday tomorrow. Man, I hope I wake up in the morning. I really do. But I don't know if that's going to be true. And I believe that. I really do. I believe that that is the truth for a lot of us. And if you don't, then just look up somebody who, in fact, don't even look them up. I do this often. I will walk through the cemetery and I will be attentive. I do cemetery walks often. I will be attentive to a name that stands out, and then I'll Google them and I'll look up their stories. It's probably one of the best practices that I have in my life because it grounds me in this whole idea of today really is it. You don't believe that? I looked up a 12-year-old girl who accidentally got shot by her brother. I Googled that, looked that story up. There's all these headlines and all these things. This is from like 2005, but I'm like, dang, I got a 12-year-old. Holy cow, I'm going to go give him a hug today. Man, really, I'm getting upset by these little things. That's what this greatest day mindset is all about. That's why I create this thing. That's why it's a little bit different than just being a clinical therapist that says, how does that make you feel? Okay. Like, no. You're here right now. There's something about that. That means something.
Oh man, no, hold on. Let's further explain this because this quote comes from the statement of declaration, right? The greatest day mindset is a lifestyle, a way of living every day with a positive attitude. It is choosing to be happy and live your life with energy, no matter your circumstances. Today truly is the only day you have to live, shape, and create who it is you want to become. Today may not be your last day, but it definitely is your only day. Come on. If you don't feel like you could run through a wall, rip your shirt off, and scream out loud, like, I love that. I love making today the best day. Tomorrow is tomorrow. The past is the past, but the present is a gift. Right now is a gift for us to live, for us to have this conversation, right? To be on this platform, to be on a way that we can share these ideas. But for many people out there, it's how do we make your day today the greatest day? How is it that you wake up and look out the window and be in a place of space, of freedom, a deep breath, right? And I love this. I love that. So I want you, if you could, let's break this down into 3 steps. I would love 3 parts. The first part is, I'm single, right? I'm a teenager. How do I make today the best day when I've got all the distractions, all the social media noise? How do I make today the best day?
First of all, I'm impressed with your shadow being a teenager. That is nice. That's give it a few more hours, you might. No, it's and this is so real for our youth right now in the world. This is so real. It's so heavy. Man, why did I ever have kids? I mean, you're past that. You got some older ones, but geez. I would tell them, what this mindset, this mentality, and this spirit, truthfully, is what it is. It's a spirit that we hold inside that's just like, does all this stuff really matter long term? It matters today for sure. I would never tell a youth to be like, your boyfriend or girlfriend breaking up with you. You weren't marrying them anyway, so get over it. I would never say that, but it's just like, yeah, how can we appreciate the relationship that you just came out of for what it was? How do we hunt for the good, even in the bad moments? Well, the first thing is, how about we stop labeling good and bad? Let's not do that. Let's not label things as good and things as bad. Let's just label them as moments, and that they're here to teach us. They're here to guide us. They're here to push us in the next right direction. And that comes with some hardship. And that comes with some really hard emotions that don't feel very good inside when we're having them. What do you think we can learn from it? Let's just honor it. I see, you're sad, or you're depressed, or you're anxious about this. That must be something that's really important to you, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And I'm working with more youth now than I ever have before. And these are conversations we get to have, right? Someone in my office the other day, his best friend, a couple months ago, killed himself. And it's like, whoa, that's heavy. That's heavy. No wonder you haven't done anything in school since. No wonder you haven't. And it was the first time that kid's like, yeah, why should I be showing up as my usual self when that big thing happened? Yeah, exactly. You shouldn't. So I think we start teaching, again, our youth of this, moments are just moments. What are we going to learn from them? Let's not get too attached to the good, and let's not get too attached to the bad. Quote, the good, right, and the bad, right? Let's not, because they're all gone. They're all gone when you lay your head down and go to sleep. You wake up and it's like a new start anyway. Mm-hmm. Your victories of yesterday aren't going to carry you through tomorrow if you make it. And the sadnesses or the downs, they don't have to hold you back either.
Man, I love that. Separate the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, the black and the white. I love that. Giving perspective, true perspective on how to look at something. Man, that's amazing. Amazing. So let me ask this. So mental health is it is huge, right? I mean, we have people that work from home that have never worked from home before, right? You isolate somebody in a room where they're used to being out and being, talking, right? I saw this a lot with kids going to school, right? High school and college and elementary. I saw this with my own kids when they were home, they're basically on a computer. Nobody wanted to turn on their cameras because nobody was really dressed up. And it was just just this little space, right? I mean, how do we help, right? I'm completely could be saying this wrong, but how do I help, and how do we recognize, and what can we do to help individuals with this mental block, which is a big issue, right? So mental health, how can we help? What can we do to help those that are struggling with it?
The people themselves, how do we help those guys that are struggling?
Yeah.
Connection. connection. And those people who I see in my office or, just interact with, it's like, maybe don't order everything off the website. Maybe don't do grocery pickup every single time. Maybe go in and make eye contact with someone. Go in and have just a very, very short conversation. When they ask you how your day is, and you say good, you ask it back with intention of listening and hearing them. Compliment somebody. Wake up. And our mutual friend Brandon, I've told him before, like, and I've sent him messages before too. It's like, you just wake up and be in tune to maybe who might need a little pick me up, and send them an encouraging message. Make that phone call, but get out. We all need human connection. Yes, it's so nice to not have to drive to the office. It's so nice to roll over and turn the computer on and I'm signed in for the work day. And lots of convenience, but what are we missing? What are we losing out on? We're losing the human connection, which ultimately is, we were meant for that, right? Isn't there like a study on like orphans that never got picked up and they all started to die off? We are made for human touch and human connection. The worst thing that happened was the masks and not being able to hug people. It's like, no, we all need hugs. We need some hugs, man.
Yeah.
So I think we support people by just that. Who have I noticed on maybe my social media feed that hasn't posted for a few days? That's abnormal. You got to be in tune. You got to be intentional about this stuff. Yeah. Let me send them a message. Where they been? And then all of a sudden you start finding stuff out about people when you actually care, when you put that into action and you send the message or you make the phone call or, so we got to be aware. We got to be intentional, and man, pick your head up out of your screen and just like see the world again.
Oh man, that is so good. That is so, I can't, and I remember our buddy Brandon, he did post on it like, hey, I got a good message from my buddy at the right time. And I was like, yeah. And, you look at that, but it's one of those things that we take for granted, right? That human touch, that connectivity. Don't send me send me a text message. That's fine. But there's some power behind, if I'm close enough, can I drive over and see you? But if I'm not, can I pick up a phone and I hear your voice? Can I hear that emotional connection, that empathetic connection, right? That grasp that really says there's intent behind why I'm calling you. And it's just, I just want you to know that I love you, right? For men, it is very difficult for us to be like, yeah, I love you. I love you, bro. Right. And it is to tell another man, right? Because when you're growing up, you don't tell somebody you love them. It's just weird. But as you get older, as you're like, man, I love when people that I know and associate that are good friends of mine, they're like, dude, I love you, brother. You're amazing. And I'm like, thank you. And I've had to train myself to allow myself to receive that. And that's what I think I want you to talk on. This last point is this receiving. I'm great at giving. I'll give and buy presents and stuff, but I suck at receiving 100%. My wife will do something nice for me. And I'm like, yeah, all right. So now I feel like I got to go do something. And I'm like, no, I need to step back and receive, right? Give us some tips. Give us something, one or two things that we can do to allow ourselves to receive that positivity, receive that energy, receive that love that is true, whether it's by emotion. Give us one or two tips that we can do to work on to be better at receiving.
Okay. Yeah. I love this. Let me ask you though, what do you think blocks you from being the receiver?
Number one is, it's just, I don't feel worthy enough, right. To receive that type of love. That's the honest truth. When I get it, I'm like, I don't feel worthy enough. And then I'm like, all right, I got to do something because I feel like I feel better at giving because, okay, now I'm fulfilled, as opposed to, nah, I shouldn't be receiving this. This is wrong.
Yeah. I thought you might say that because that's what most of us go through, right? That's what most of us are experiencing, is this idea of somehow, somewhere along the line, somebody imprinted a story in your mind that's not even yours, really, because a lot of us share the same story. So it clearly can't be yours. That's my first invitation for you to just release it. It's not yours. You are worthy of it. You don't have to do anything else to be worthy of receiving. Nothing. So I don't know about a 1 or 2 thing to start doing, but here's the mentality to keep in it. It is oh shoot, what's it called? I'm like Circle of Life. No, it's not Lion King. Okay. Disney's getting a lot of plugs today. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the name of it. Okay. Oh, I got it. It's the Virtuous Cycle. And the Virtuous Cycle, what that means is whatever emotion or energy that exists on earth is already there. What makes it more relevant or more present is how much we put it back out. So whatever I'm receiving, whatever energy or emotion or whatever, I have to take it upon myself to repackage it as love and hope and positivity, and then put it back in the world. And the more I do that, the more I'll begin to receive it because there's already more of it. So you can't kill the virtuous cycle. So, hey, man, I love the shirt. Actually, your hair, dude, you're a handsome dude. You're looking good. I'm not making this up, by the way, you are. And if you go, oh, don't worry about it. It was my wife. She does my hair. And this shirt, I mean, it's nothing. It's on sale. It's stupid. You just killed the virtuous cycle. Like you just stopped the cycle of me praising and giving and packaging my emotions and vibes and feelings and all that stuff and sending it out. You basically just cut its head off. So now it's dead. So we've got to keep the virtuous cycle going. So if somebody compliments you, and that is a tough thing to do, or they give you a gift, or they do some kind of acts of service or words of affirmation, right? Any of these things, you may not quite believe it yet, but you just go, thank you. I accept that. Thank you. Not necessarily I believe it or I feel worthy of it, but don't kill the virtuous cycle. And the more we can keep this cycle going, the more we're like, wait a second, they're receiving that kind of stuff and they're receiving that kind of stuff. And I can see good in this person enough to give to them. Well, maybe I am worthy of receiving some of that too. If they are, why can't I be? So I think it's just keeping that energy, keeping that cycle going. That's how we start. So it's as simple as, hey, I do like your shirt. I drop my kids off every day at school and I'm like, will you guys find somebody to compliment today? Something, their shoes, less about the material stuff. I'm really trying to get away from that stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
My 8-year-old's already like, ooh, look at those J's. I'm like, cool, but dude, their shoes, you're going to outgrow them in like 6 months, man. Don't get too attached. It doesn't mean anything about who you are. Are you doing good though? So go compliment someone. And then I watch, and it was pretty cool. I saw my son one day. I dropped him off at the front of the school for breakfast. Mm-hmm. And I drove away, but I noticed he went backwards. He went away from the school, around the school, and I pulled around and parked. I think he did see me though. But I went around and parked. He went and got this new kid who was waiting at the classroom, these outside classrooms, and took him into breakfast with him. Dude, I'm like starting to cry in my car. I'm like, oh my gosh. That's not like that son of mine, by the way. That's pretty forward for him to do that. So I asked him about it later and he's like, oh, it's that new kid. Like, I just thought, he always stands out there. I just thought maybe he'd want to come inside and have breakfast with me. It's like, dude, that's it. You get it. That's how we start doing those things. Little. How does that change that other kid's life? I don't know, but I bet it made I'll bet it's that moment that kid someday will remember. I don't know. There was this curly kid in 6th grade. He like asked me to go to lunch, but it was really cool. Like I felt included every day after that because of that kid. My son may never hear that, but he probably made a moment for someone, and that's what it's about.
Oh man, just saying that, it took me back to one of my really good friends. I've had him on here. He owns Corey Benson, right? He was one of my really good friends growing up in elementary, and it was a simple act. He may not remember this, but I remember this as clear as day, right? Going out to recess. And I remember being told I couldn't go up on this wood plank where everybody was playing because I didn't have the right type of belt. I had a black belt on. Everybody had a brown belt on, and I could not go up. And they're like, you can't go up there. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, everybody is up there having fun. I'm like, this is so dumb. And here he comes, and he's like, hey, we don't need him. Let's go over here and play. And I'm like, okay. And from that moment, that was a core memory of me remembering him doing this. He may not remember this at all, but I sure as heck did. And that changed the course of my life. That really helped me start to say, I don't need to try to fight hard to be accepted by you. I just need to know that there are people out there who will accept me for me. And that's who I want to attach to. Man, that's just, as you were talking, I remembered, upper limiting, right? You probably read their book, The Big Leap. Once you start hitting that upper limit, right? They talk a whole series about the golf, great shot. I pulled it a little to the left, or, oh man, I'm just not on my game, as opposed to saying, yeah, you're right. Maybe it hit clean, but it was good. And I love that what you were saying is just stopping and going, thank you. Hey, thank you. And I have worked my tail off. When I hear that, I'm like, thank you. I appreciate that. Cause I am used to being clipped and going, hey, I'm just here doing what I'm supposed to do, not to get fired,
Yes,
or whatever
exactly.
it may be. So I love that, man. I love it. Look, guys, if you haven't figured out yet, Craig is amazing in what he does, the passion that he brings. We've kind of sprinkled in throughout. If you don't already know, he's a passion, he's a love for this. So please tell everybody about the business, about the journal. Let me grab mine so you guys know. Go out. We'll have a link to it. It's amazing. It has changed the way that I look at it. I set my day up. I got it from a good friend of ours, Brandon. So give us some insight. Tell us a little bit about the business, how we can connect, and what you're trying to do differently than everybody else.
I mean, the journal is right now is my baby, right? Like, this is people are just learning about it and they're like, oh, it's cool as a new book. I'm like, I mean, it's 4 years in the making, but but it came to me over. I'm driving to work up at the University of Utah Hospital, where I worked on the social work team up there years ago. Actually, it's only been a year and a half since I left there to really pursue this business, by the way. But I'm driving up there. I'm like, I got something bigger, purpose, fulfillment. I got something bigger. I have something inside of me that God placed there that I can't do inside of the walls of this hospital. There's a literal and a figurative ceiling over me when I step into this building. And there's more. What would I do? What would I do? If I could have 15 minutes with every single person in the world, this is what I would do. And then I put it inside of a book and I called it a focus journal. This is it. This is how I'm trying to reach more and more people than will ever show up inside of my office, or who can afford to sit in my office. The journal. So I love that you're in it. I love that you're using it and praising it. And it means a lot. And it's pretty humbling, some of the feedback I get about the journal. Because really, it is more than this. It's not me trying to just be, all humble about it. They're just words on a page. I mean, they are. Some of them I look at the way I formed it and I'm like, I don't know how I did that. That's obviously somebody else working through me, because
Yep.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Everything front to back is I designed or I wrote or anyway, maybe I got to work on some of my own self-beliefs inside of that. I'll examine that later. But what I want to do really is I really feel a calling to help people who are feeling just that stuck place in life, to just start eliminating the little barriers inside about who they think they are, about the messaging, who their childhood stories tell them they're supposed to be. And it starts by just getting that focus every day, whether it's a morning or a night thing, but you're like, what am I grateful for? And if I can start finding the gratitude in life, it starts to change your brain chemistry. It's proven. It's inside the journal. I give you all the science behind it. And if I can start speaking power into myself, these power statements, which most of the world or listeners know as positive affirmations, if I can start tapping into speaking to myself a different way, I'll start acting a different way. I will start treating myself differently if I believe something different about me. And you do this routinely. It's only 3 things, right? Inside the journal, 3 things you're grateful for, 3 things you've accomplished. Speaking of that celebration, not tolerated, you celebrate yourself inside this journal. What have you done well lately? You've done something. I don't care if it was just getting out of bed today. That's a victory. Write that down. But you do this over time and it really starts to change the way you look at yourself, the way you allow other people to treat you. Honestly, like I don't accept that anymore. Like, you're not allowed to speak to me like that. You know why? Because I'm a powerful man of God, because I'm a patient and present, loving father. You know what I'm saying? That right back to the beginning of this discussion. It's like that. I've written that thing hundreds of times. It's in there. So if you're going to be inside my office though, or if there's a lot more to come, right? I'm building some online coaching programs. I'm trying to get some other things because I want to reach more, because we don't have to be stuck. People don't have to be stuck the way they are. They don't have to. They just need a little bit of extra permission that, like I said to you earlier, you don't have to do anything else to be worthy of receiving. You don't. But something inside a lot of us is saying, yeah, I hear that, but I don't believe that. I want to help as many people as I can to get rid of those negative beliefs and increase the positive ones. So I do that in the form of working with couples. I work with individuals in a counseling format, which is much more of a medical model, diagnosis, treatment notes, treatment plan kind of stuff. But then also it was like, I can reach more if I branch out to this whole just kind of coaching approach too. So now I do a lot of coaching, even all over the world. I've got clients out of the United States right now, and helping them really do all the same stuff that I'm talking about, get present every day, make it the greatest day, like really know you have power in your reality and you can create it to become what you want it to be.
I love it. Look, guys, I'm telling you right now, it is very difficult when you're writing. I'm gonna read you what. Let me just read you the first little bit. I will maintain an attitude of gratitude today. I am grateful for. You write 3 things down. It's key to celebrate winning. My recent victories in life are, and you write them down. It is uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable celebrating yourself. Look, he's right there. It is very uncomfortable to celebrate yourself, to celebrate your wins, to break through your own noise. The positive affirmation thing is something I've lived by, right? I used to wake up in the morning when I was going going through my divorce. I hit a point when I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, this sucks. I was sitting in my bathroom. My hands were on the countertop, and I just looked up and looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, I'm better than this. Like, I'm powerful. So then I started to write these I am statements every single day. I'd write 6 I ams and change them. And then I would journal about them. I'd write them in the journal. Craig has taken all that and he's put it in a journal that I absolutely love. It will change the way you think. It helps those that go, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. You get somebody who's willing and able to share with you things that would cost a ton. And I'm an advocate. I love the book. I think it's fantastic. I think what you're doing is amazing, Craig. Thank you so much for being a part. If people want to reach out and get a hold of you, what are your social media feeds? How can we reach you? Please tell us how we can contact you.
Everything about me is Greatest Day Mindset. So at Greatest Day Mindset on Instagram, I'm pretty sure Facebook. I don't really do anything over there. Although I do have a Focus on Gratitude private group on Facebook. I'll send you links and you can put those all in there because I actually don't know them. It's probably facebook.com focus on gratitude. I don't know, but it's just gratitude's huge for me. So that's what's inside the journal. I've got this free group. It's just a place, people gather. I don't know, there's a couple hundred people in there, but it's like little tips on how to get more grateful and whatnot. And then there's the podcast, the Greatest Day podcast on all the podcast platforms. And it's all of this stuff we talked about today. I just give these like 8 to 12 minute episodes of like, here's a thinking point for you. Here's an idea, bust that journal out and write about it and see what comes of it. So I just try to give those, 3, maybe 4 a week when I'm on my game episodes, but they're just short little things that, can get this mentality. It's all about the focus and intentionality, and whatever we're feeding inside of our spirits and our minds, that's what is going to grow. And so I'm trying to just there's a lot of free content out there, and I'm just trying to add my piece to it to just, get people moving in the right direction again. Restore some of that hope. When you don't have hope, it's a tough place to be, but there is always something to grab onto.
Oh man, Craig, I love it, dude. This has been awesome. This is going to be one that people will go back and listen to over and over again. Okay. Before I let you go, I do this all the time. And you're right. We'll have all the links, have everything in here. And not only this, but we'll have it all over the platforms. But top 5 books. Give me 5 books that you would recommend anybody to read, whether it's a spiritual, whether it's personal development, whether it's personal or business development, just 5 books that you would recommend anybody to read.
Whew, 5. That means I have to remember them. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's a bunch of them behind me, right? But I will say this first. I'll give you the books. I'll give you my list if I can come up with 5. The books are less important than the actions you take from what you're reading. So read the first chapter of every book and then go apply it. I don't even care. Who cares if you finish the rest of the book? Just apply something. So many people are just looking for the next thing. Consume. And then we don't create anything out of it. So I enjoy reading books. I don't read a ton. I just finished, and I'll put this on there, Winning by Tim Grover. Phenomenal, just like go get attitude. Loved that book. The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I didn't know it was such a Jesus God book, but so if you're not a Jesus or God person, I don't know, read it anyway. It's all about slowing down. We're just a rushed society and people, so just slow down. Let's see. I'm going to cheat.
Go ahead.
Oh, You End Up Where You're Heading. A local guy here in Utah, Jimmy Rex. That book is phenomenal, just about, stepping outside of. I read that book, and that's the moment I said, this ceiling in the hospital, it's holding me down. It's holding me back. I read that book, and I put in my notice like 10 days later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I reached out to him. I'm like, dude, you may have got me in a pickle here by writing this book, because I just took some bold action. And now I'm building this business because of it, right? Like, it's scary, but you go after it. How many books am I at? Atomic Habits is good. 3. Atomic Habits, but I'd read the first chapter of that one too, and then just go apply that chapter. That's all you need out of that book. And then I'm not going to finish your 5. I'll say, start writing your own. Get a pen, get a book, whether it's mine, another journal, aligned one, but then start writing your own book. Your past is here to help shape you of who you are today. And the way you start living today is going to shape who you become later. So be intentional and write your own book, and not necessarily a literal sense of publishing it and all that stuff, but get inside the pages of reflection. And that's where your ultimate growth is going to come from. So it's a little cop out for you, but I really feel strongly about that.
No, not at all, man. Those are awesome. I love that last part. Write your own book, write your own story, because your stories are going to tell an impact. If it impacts one person and changes their life, what a fulfilled life, man, guys.
Let me say this too. Can I, let me just, sure. I just want to give you recognition, because you sent me some prompts just to give some thoughts about even this discussion today. And that made me go back in my own book, in my own story that I've already created. Man, there's so much beauty inside of the hardship and all that. Like, it really pushed me into, like, I even sent you a message. I was like, dude, this is going to be fun. This is going to be good. But the greatest book any of us can read is the one it's already been written about us. It's our reality that we've already lived. What are you learning from that? And that's what's helped really, really shape me, is going back and being like, oh yeah, I got a pretty phenomenal book going on here. Oh man, I'm excited for version 39 or whatever's next, like, it's pretty cool. So thank you, even just the platform, your passion, following all of this stuff and creating moments like this for me, for others to listen. Like, thank you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, guys. Man, I can't wait to reach out, get involved, write your book, get going. You can see we're just 2 guys who are just passionate about helping people and becoming the greatest day ever. And that's really what this comes down to. I appreciate it, guys. Hey, catch you on the next episode of This is the Arch Study of You. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you.
See ya.